My calves never get fat though. Like even when I was at my absolute heaviest, like I was at 185.
Uh-huh.
When was this? Maybe like 3, 4 years ago, and my calves were still lean. Like I literally just had fat to my hamstrings. No, I don't add fat to my hamstrings, do I? My hamstrings stay lean. I just add fat to my belly and my face eventually.
That's ideal fat distribution, to be fair. Yeah, no, I hold a lot of fat in my calves, and then I also get very heavy as well. So when I get heavy, obviously walking around probably adds a good bit of tissue to them. So
You've probably got the best body fat distribution, to be fair. Your abs stay lean no matter what.
yeah, to be fair, it's pretty good, but it's also I think now that we're aware of it, it's fine. But when we first started, it was a bit of an illusion. To be fair,
Yeah,
I looked
before your first prep,
yeah, I looked way leaner, like way
you're
way
like, yeah,
leaner.
it can't be more than 30 pounds, 35 pounds to pull off it. He's got a six pack, so he must be like pretty close.
Yeah, and then dropped down to 200 pounds, and my legs looked really skinny, and my midsection looked exactly the same
Yeah,
as it did at 220, and I was like, oh no.
we live and we learn.
Yeah,
But yeah, welcome back, guys, to the Diet Fatigue podcast. I think we should call this episode 1
yeah.
because realistically, I think we did one episode with the new name about 2 years ago, and then just flopped from there. To be honest.
It was about 5 weeks out from my first show,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, you haven't
Um,
competed yet.
and I was severely diet fatigued.
That's what
Uh,
happened. Basically, I went into the last few weeks of my prep, and then by the time I was out of my prep, you went into the depths of your prep,
is
and that kind of like halted the podcast.
isn't it funny how the name of the podcast was our demise?
Yeah, literally, diet fatigue was our downfall, big time.
Oh God, no.
Yeah,
We to be fair, at that time in our lives, we were both pretty caught up in things. So I was obviously at the back end of a prep, which is quite consuming, and then we were we were pretty much at the end of our house tenancy, weren't we? So
yeah. At the end of that year,
yeah, so we moved out then, and then we had quite scattered living situations for a while. Um,
yeah, I was down in Leicester. To be fair, we could just go back to I reckon in this podcast we just cover the last 2 years briefly, obviously,
yeah,
but
no,
not
month by
month by
month.
month over the last 2 years. But
Yeah,
we can just cover the last 2 years, and then from next episode, I reckon we start doing questions and start doing like updates in our week and stuff because
sure,
yeah,
sure.
it's a lot to go through. So
Yeah,
I
catch
think
up.
yeah, I think as you mentioned, the last pod was 5 weeks out from your first show. Was it from finals?
5 weeks out from the first show, I'm pretty sure.
So you hadn't competed that. Now you're a seasoned competitor.
Oh, I don't know about
Yeah,
season competitor. I've only done 2 shows,
yeah.
but
But obviously you did your prep that year, end of 2023.
yeah,
Won your first show, and then got to finals. Competed at finals. Leo competed that year. Obviously I competed that year as well, and then
Chris as well.
Chris as well. Yeah, don't
Yeah,
forget Chris. I kind of forget Chris that year because he joined me right at the end of his prep, didn't he? Like six
yeah,
weeks out. So
sure.
I forget that I actually coached him to stage as well. But yeah, Chris is in a little bit of a secret prep now, so we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes.
Well, it's not a secret prep anymore now that you've.
No, to be fair, he said it on his Instagram. He
Oh,
said
okay.
I was keeping it a secret until he put it on his Instagram. We'll see how this goes.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so we had 3, 4 people compete that year. Also, I went full time that year at the end of that year.
That was pretty
So
sick.
stopped PTing basically because the gym I was working at shut down. I was like, okay, I'm just in a full send online coaching now. Might as well, it's given me the opportunity. Might as well take the risk at this point.
Forced into it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was perfect as well. 'Cause I think a lot of people struggle to make the jump because it's such like a big risk.
Scary.
But I had no choice. Like
Yeah.
it was either get another PT job, and also because I was moving back down to Leicester, it was like where do I get a job, Sheffield or Leicester?
Yeah.
But yeah, that pushed me into online coaching full time. 2024, really good year.
I'd say so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
definitely.
was it was a big year for our lives. Definitely, like getting your first home is a lot more of a big deal than you
Mm,
initially think. Um, me and my girlfriend Ellie, we hadn't initially planned to buy our first home together. It just kind of happened. So obviously, me and Ryan used to live with each other. But the house contract ended, and then I was actually looking to buy on my own. But in all honesty, a lot of the places that I was looking at in the budget that I had, like I didn't really like. And Ellie had about 6 months left on her current house contract. So um, it was a little bit awkward. We were gonna move in with each other, but the tenancies didn't line up. So it just ended up working out that we do a shared mortgage, and then we got our first home,
Yeah.
first
That was
little
like
flat.
August, was it? Around August? It was summertime, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we first moved in June. Um,
Because we left our old flat at Kellum in March. I
yeah,
moved back down to Leicester.
yeah,
You stayed up here
yeah,
and then moved into your new flat. And then I got this place
yeah.
in Sheffield now as well. So I'm back up here, which is lovely. And I bought this house basically in October last year. So I've been here for around 7 months. And yeah,
Yeah,
living the life.
it's a big old process.
Yeah, stressful.
Yeah, it took God, it from the actual like initial inquiry, it took us like 5 or 6 months to like get through the whole thing. Jesus Christ. It's expensive as well. I mean, like yeah, obviously buying the place is expensive, but I'm more talking about like
Lawyers' fees.
the lawyers' fees, like actually buying like furniture and stuff.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it wipes you out financially, but it's great because I think we were both in a position where we didn't want to rent anymore. We wanted to get on the housing ladder. So yeah, it feels kind of mad to look back at like when we first started doing this podcast, and we were literally both unemployed,
Yeah.
like basically.
We were training to be PTs
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
point.
exactly. Yeah. And we all felt like we both felt a bit. Um, well, I'm speaking on your behalf, but I remember feeling like a bit lost because I'd just finished my masters, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like where do I go from now? And it was all a bit overwhelming. But
Mm.
yeah, here we are, two
You know
years
what's
later.
weird? I probably have like more doubts in my career now that I'm actually succeeding in it than I did
Yeah,
before. Like in
seriously.
2022, I was so confident, okay, I'm going to make it as an online coach.
Yeah,
I had zero paying clients,
yeah,
but I just knew in my head, okay, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it happen somehow.
yeah,
And now, when I'm living comfortably off online coaching,
yeah,
there's more stress there because I'm like, oh, what if it all goes tomorrow? Do you know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
bit of a weird conundrum, but
I
I've
think
always been
it's
like that.
I think obviously because you're now a lot more successful, you've got a lot more riding on it.
Yeah,
Whereas like
with a house as well. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like it's now I think back then because it wasn't your career, like you didn't depend on
yeah,
like living for it. I think there was obviously a lot less pressure, but hey, pressure's a privilege.
yeah.
Like I
If you
don't
if you can manage it, that's what I'm learning. Like, if you can manage that stress, manage that pressure, it does just force you into being productive, force you into actually being successful. But
yeah,
that's what I'm learning: is manage it. Make sure that you don't let it overwhelm you.
yeah, 100%. But I think if you I'm assuming you started feeling that pressure when you stopped like in-person PTing and you sent it full time.
Yeah,
But that
yeah.
like
That was the turning point. I didn't really stress about online coaching until then.
yeah, exactly. But that yeah, I think you're going about it the right way and thinking about it in a positive way because if you didn't feel that pressure to succeed, that's probably like the driving factor of
Mm,
your success.
yeah,
Like that's probably the catalyst for your growth.
yeah. And you know what I'm like as well. Like, if I'm not being productive,
Yeah,
I just go mental.
yeah, yeah. I think if you even if you didn't feel that pressure, I think you would naturally fall into those habits anyway because you are. That is just like you
The
as a
way I'm built.
person. Yeah, 100%. But that pressure that you feel isn't. I think if you can flip it on its head and turn it into a positive thing, like that's
Yeah.
class. Like
I
that.
think last year, obviously, I left one coaching as well, which the podcast won't know. But I'm assuming if you're watching the podcast, you probably watched my previous video as well. And last year definitely was like a really hard year for me, and that added into it as well, like the pressure of online coaching, going on my own,
Sure,
having to learn the whole business side of things as well.
sure.
That definitely added to it, and I think also that probably took away from my physique goals as well. But
Yeah,
luckily, I'm actually feeling really good about the way physique progress is going. Since the new year,
sure.
since getting back from Krakow, I've actually really enjoyed training. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed actually progressing again. Guess how much I weigh right now?
How much?
Guess.
Um, think we've spoken about this recently. I'm gonna say like
You can tell by my jawline.
yeah, you look quite lean to
Yeah.
be fair. Yeah, are you? I'm assuming you're around like one. Are you in the 170s? One what?
170s.
No, the conversion to pounds
All
to
right.
kilos is confusing me. I don't know. I don't know what are you? What are
I'm
you?
155 pounds.
155 pounds.
So I'm
Jesus
like pretty
Christ.
lean right now. I've
Okay.
got 3 more weeks left of this dieting phase.
What was your weight on stage?
140.
140.
So
Okay.
I'm 15 pounds above stage weight.
Okay, so pretty lean then.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like what, 10% above?
Yeah.
But you know me, like I don't really feel it until I'm like literally there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
100%.
But the way I'm looking at it is, okay, the last 2 years of progress, again, I've spoken about it on my previous videos. I'm not going to go into it in detail, but the last 2 years of progress haven't been there. So what do I need now to get back on stage with that progress? You want a
Sure.
2 year off season, don't you?
Yeah.
That's what you want as a minimum as a natural athlete to make progress.
Sure.
So I'm now set it up. Okay, you compete in 2027.
Yeah.
Lock that in. That's the time you got to aim for. Make as much progress as you can before then.
Yeah.
So I'm using this diet now to set up my off season as if it was a prep right now,
Sure.
and then I can reverse into off season and have 2 years of progress until 2027. What are your plans? I know we spoke about this as
Um,
well.
I was sorry. I was just gonna ask. Do you reckon you've regained the tissue that you had, like when you did that prep in what was it 20 same year as me, so 2023?
Yeah, I think obviously I've definitely lost muscle last year,
Sure.
over the last half of last year.
Yeah.
But then with how I'm looking now, I'd say I'm pretty much back to my peak.
Yeah.
I'd actually say I'm probably bigger in certain areas. Like
Seriously, yeah.
delts definitely bigger, chest is bigger, which is annoying because my chest is my strongest body part. It just grows so sensitively.
Yeah. That's always the case though. I think with your strongest body parts, like they are just so prone to growth. Even
Yeah,
if you drop like volume and frequency, they're
I do
probably
4 sets a week for chest.
yeah, they're probably still gonna grow. It's like me. Like in this off season, I can tell my
Yeah, you've done
arms.
4 a week for chest as well.
Yeah, my arms, delts, and chest have definitely gotten like not much bigger, but like they've still grown, which
Yeah, you
yeah,
just don't need volume for them, do you? 'Cause
no,
like they grow so easily
yeah,
that you can just literally take all the volume off them, put it all in the other muscle groups,
yeah,
and just grow evenly everywhere, which is
yeah,
actually a good thing to be fair.
yeah. That's an interesting point that you touched on about like you've probably regained all the size that you had before. I think people underestimate how easy it is to kind of come back from like having a period of time where you've been off.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of people that like almost like really panic and mentally struggle about it, but it's pretty easy
Mm.
to regain the amount of size that you had previously. I mean, as long as you're not like an absolute like mass monster.
Unless you're on gear before,
Yes, exactly.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I reckon like last year I probably was down like a good 5, maybe even 10 pounds of muscle at
Yeah.
one point
Sure.
because I was struggling that much with my mental health that I just wasn't training hardly at all consistently.
Sure.
So that was probably the lowest point I got. But then by now, I've been training consistently for the last 4 months, eating consistently for the last 4 months, and it's pretty much back to its best. Apart from my legs, which is annoying
Yeah.
because I'm injured, which is great because I can't literally train my hamstrings. I can't train my calves.
Yeah.
Mate, it's so bad.
It's a killer. It's a killer. To be fair, I've had to chill out on calf training recently
Oh
because
no.
yeah, I
Oh,
know, terrible.
what are you gonna do, man?
Yeah, mainly because of my knees. Like I think it's flaring up whatever issues I've got with my knees at the minute. So I'm not training them as frequently.
You could get away with
Um,
never training calves again.
Probably
Honestly.
not. No. Yeah, they've always been pretty big, even when I didn't lift. Like I think I
Same, man.
I
Same.
think it. I think it's partly down to obviously genetics, but also like I've never been like super light, so I've always had that kind of
Yeah.
weight like to move around. Um, and I used to play a lot of like sports like tennis and basketball, where obviously like running around, that's obviously going to grow like your calves. Yeah, I know, terrible, terrible news.
But I didn't realize. So I basically got sciatica, and it's literally affecting. I'll show you today. I'll do hamstrings on today's session,
Yeah,
and it's like it's made my strength in my right leg so bad.
really.
You know, on the Atlantis leg curl,
Yeah,
I'm doing the top weight, 3.5 kilos.
seriously.
It is ridiculous.
Is that because of pain, or is it just like
No, because it's just like complete weakness down this
weakness?
side. I'm assuming
Jesus.
that the sciatic nerve like innervates some of the muscles down that side of the leg.
Yeah.
Because my left leg's fine, my left leg's sound, but my right leg is literally there's no strength there at all. Even on
Jesus.
calves, quads are okay to be fair.
Yeah.
But hamstrings and calves, there's just no strength on my right side,
Fucking
which is
hell.
annoying because it's not that annoying. At least not my upper body. But
Yeah,
like,
but I think like you enjoy training legs,
yeah,
so
definitely.
yeah. Something that I've definitely started to notice. So for context, so I did my first bodybuilding season in men's physique, but I'm now
Oh yeah, can you
going
touch
over.
on that?
Oh yeah, shit. I'll briefly explain, like going on to my point, and then maybe talk about it in a bit more detail after. But yeah, I'm going over to bodybuilding. But something that I've realized from training legs at higher frequency is I think because your legs are such a large muscle group, I definitely think that has a cross transfer to just growing more everywhere. I think I've noticed.
What do you mean?
Well, because my legs have grown more, I think I've been leaner at higher body weights because I've just got more muscle.
Yeah.
So then I'm just able to push my off seasons a little further because I'm just in better competition. If
But
that
also
makes
you've
sense.
handled this off season like immaculately.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
That also
that's
maybe.
probably why you've grown so
Yeah,
much.
maybe I'm just bro science in
Yeah.
there. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about me switching over to bodybuilding instead of physique. So the feedback that I got at my the British finals, the last show that I did in my prep was I was quite big for the category. Um, and after like I don't know, it's a bit weird because I think when I first got into like physique development and like that whole process, I prioritize like men's physique body parts anyway.
You did
So
look very men's physique to be fair, when you had less muscle.
yeah, that is true to be fair. Yeah, but then we did that off season and I grew a hell of a lot.
It just
Um,
ended up looking a bit weird.
yeah,
You did look like a bodybuilder in board shorts.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I, yeah, I think looking back at the stage photos and looking at my physique now, like if you compare the men's physique shots to bodybuilding shots, like the bodybuilding shots look a lot more natural.
Yeah.
Like they just I can't even put my
It's your midsection. Like your
yeah
midsection looks so much better
yeah
when you're vacuuming,
yeah
and your waist looks so much smaller when you're doing that as well.
sure
It just makes the whole difference to your overall shape.
yeah
You're so wide up top, and then when you vacuum, you've got like actually a really small waist as well,
sure
and then you've got sweeping quads, so you've got like the perfect shape for bodybuilding.
of course.
But then when you do it in the men's physique pose, it just doesn't look as like flowy and as natural.
Yeah, I think something that I noticed as well was like I know there's the whole like bodybuilding shots look better when you're a bit fatter, and physique shots look better when you're
Oh
leaner.
yeah, definitely.
But I mean, if you look at Leo, like his physique shots still look like
Yeah,
really good when he's like a bit
heavier.
softer. You can tell that like he is very physique even in his off season. Whereas me, like Jesus Christ, me in the off season, like even when I was prepping a couple of
Yeah,
years ago, I had loads of people like you're
yeah.
doing men's physique. What the
What are you
fuck?
doing?
Yeah. And obviously when I dieted down, like I did have like I think because I had really well developed delts and like a
Arms,
relatively not
abs.
a relatively nice midsection. I did suit it to an extent, but looking at bodybuilding shots, obviously my legs still need to come up a good amount, but I just think I suit them a lot better.
I think it just comes down to your ceiling.
Yeah,
Like I think
sure.
in men's physique, the very top level, you're always gonna get beaten by people like Leo, who are
Yeah,
just like
prettier.
structurally, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh mate,
Mate, I'm ugly.
no, because he's like
I haven't got Leo's mog face, have I?
he just looks like more compact. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it, but
Yeah.
like
No,
you get
definitely.
beaten by people who are smaller than you,
Yeah,
who have nowhere near as much muscle as you. Even if you have the same condition as them, they'll still beat you. But in
sure.
bodybuilding, the ceiling is literally for you. It's literally endless
Sure.
because frame wise, the frame's massive,
Yeah.
wide delts, really small waist,
Sure.
wide sweeping quads as well.
Yeah.
So if you just put the muscle on, there's no limit there for bodybuilding.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Whereas physique, there is kind of like a ceiling or like a point where like I probably wouldn't be able to surpass that because of just the way that
Well,
I'm
you were
built.
getting on that limit as a junior, so
Yeah, exactly. And
like
I also really enjoy like training progressively. Like
yeah,
I think if I was to think about being successful in physique now, it turns into a bit of a different game.
it would.
It would be this sounds stupid, but it would be a bit like if you were an assisted athlete and you were trying to, I don't know, like you were trying to fit a certain category and not grow in certain areas, or like fit a cap. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? We'd almost have
it
to
would literally just been your
my
back.
back. Yeah, that's it. Like my front is pretty much there in terms of
Muscularity.
size. Yeah, but it's yeah. I went to a pro show last year in physique, and these guys that were competing, they had um like Leo level kind of like structure and like shape and muscle shape, but they had like some of them were literally more like heavily muscled than
Yeah.
me. So that is a scary prospect. Like some of them looked fucking insane.
Mm.
Like
That just comes down to muscle bellies as well, though, don't it?
yeah,
Like you can add that muscle while keeping the shape.
yeah, yeah, exactly, 100%. So yeah, I think for the foreseeable, bodybuilding is the way to go, which
Yeah, definitely.
isn't actually what I intended to do when I first started. But you just got to adapt, haven't
Yeah.
you? And like I actually when before I dislocated my knee, which kind of ruined our plans to do junior bodybuilding. I actually really enjoyed leg training, so the transition to training my lower half like more frequently and also like with a lot more intent. It wasn't too difficult of a
Yeah.
transition. And I think I've made like a good amount of progress on my lower. Um, I've had like a fair bit of like knee issues this off season, which is I'm working around now, and I've got back to hopefully growing my quads to like a good rate. But yeah, I think it's going really well.
Yeah, definitely. And the plan now is potentially a prep next year, depending on how we look at the end of this pre-prep.
Yeah, I think obviously I toss and turn with the idea all the time. But I'm in a pretty good headspace with it. I I really want to prep next year. I think
Just wait until the shows start as well.
I know.
Leo's texting me this morning saying, "Oh, I'm getting the itch."
Really?
Yeah, he's not competing until 2027, but
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
when you start watching people on stage, it literally just
It,
it
it
motivates you so much.
yeah, it lights the fire. It really does. I remember last year when I was the prospect of competing was like it was. I mean, I knew I was going to compete again, but I just had no idea
Yeah,
when. Even last year when I saw people on stage, I was like, yeah, that's really motivating. So I can't imagine what it's going to be like this year, like with the prospect of maybe prepping in 26. I think that will probably seal the deal
we'll
for
know
me.
by the end of this year, won't we? Because
Yeah, yeah.
the plan is to. Is it September the pre-prep or August? I've got it planned
End
out in the sheets.
of August.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we're going to do a pre-prep from peak off season. And Lawrence's peak off season now is completely different to peak off seasons in the past.
definitely.
You're around about the same weight. Like you're not far off your peak
Not far off peak
ever body
weight.
weight,
Yeah,
but
I
it's a
mean,
completely different look.
yeah, definitely. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
I'm still quite soft, but I think because I'm holding a lot more muscle, it looks a lot
yeah,
leaner, definitely. But yeah, I think the plan of action is I've got an all inclusive coming up in August, so I don't want to diet before that because I think I've learned that dieting before holidays makes the holidays quite restrictive because
yeah.
I love nailing
The
reversing
reverse.
phases because it's honestly probably the phase that my physique
I
changes the
think
most.
nailing a reversing phase is more important than nailing a diet.
Yeah,
Because diet, you can just keep dieting harder after if you
exactly.
go off plan.
Yeah,
But in a
exactly.
reversing phase,
Yeah. It sets up how productive on both ends of the scale. It can set up how productive a diet is like prep after you
Yeah, yeah.
reverse, or a gaining
Long term
phase.
off season.
Yeah. And I just really like the way that I look. Like the training performance massively goes up. Obviously like fullness, so you get the glycogen back from all the carbs that you shuttle in. And you still like really lean. Like
You keep looking leaner as well.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, I love reversing phases. So, I don't want to diet before doing that all inclusive. And then as soon as we get back at the back end of August, we'll do.
12
Um,
weeks, I reckon.
yeah, it's not going to be the 40 pound
No, not
turbo
40 pound
diet.
in 8 weeks last year, which is ridiculous.
Jesus, you know, like that was actually looking back
The food
relatively
didn't even get that
easy.
low.
No, it really wasn't bad at all. Like that is the easiest diet I've ever done, and it's probably the most aggressive that we've
Yeah.
done it. Like I really enjoyed that diet. But yeah, no, I think we're looking to strip off like an extra 10 pounds
Than we did
before
last
we,
time.
yeah. So we're gonna take it a little bit slower. Get down to around 200 pounds,
High
I'd say.
190s potentially.
Yeah,
High 190s in the reverse.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we'll get to 200 pounds, and I'll probably continue to lose a bit of weight through that reverse phase. And then kind of look at where we're at, because in the reverse phase, I think we'll see where my physique is truly at, being at my fullest and
Yeah.
leanest at that point in
It's
time.
mainly your legs, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's literally just my legs. Like I think this off season my back has come up
yeah.
loads. I think it's probably still not like quite at the level that my front is,
I don't
but
think it ever will be though. Realistically,
you
your
know,
front's always going to be your best.
yeah, definitely,
So,
definitely. But as long as it doesn't look
yeah,
disproportionate,
yeah.
that's the main thing. But you're right. I think it's gonna be my hamstrings and quads
I
that
think
are
your
gonna
hamstrings have
be.
come on loads.
They've
Like in
come
the side shots, especially.
they've come on, but it's like
Oh, they're at the
to
level.
what extent have they come up? Because it's all well and good, like,
Yeah. To come down, it's all body fat.
yeah, oh mate, it'd be so shit, wouldn't it? Like I remember halfway through the off season, I started seeing like way more of a hamstring drop than I ever have, and I was like, oh shit, like that looks good. But then it started to creep into my head, like, oh wait, what if it's just body
Yeah.
fat?
You definitely have put a good amount of size
Yeah,
on there. We've been hammering
yeah,
them.
yeah. We have
They've been at three
definitely.
times a week for the whole off season. So
Yeah, 100%. It's weird. I've never actually struggled to connect with my hamstrings. They've always just been a really stubborn body part to grow.
I think they are for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. I cannot connect with them on a hip hinge to save my life.
I don't think you need to though.
But you hear people that
Yeah,
speak about like
I know what you mean.
hamstring dominant hip hinges. Like AJ talks about them sometimes. He's like, "Oh yeah, I really want to try and bias my hamstrings in this RDL," and then he slaps four plates on
Yeah,
and he reps it
I'd get all
out.
lower back.
Yeah, yeah, literally same. And my lower back is pretty good, but yeah. But yeah, we've been hammering away at them, and fingers crossed we diet down and my legs look pretty good. I want to see what they look like in actual like bodybuilding trunks as well,
Yeah,
because I think my quads get better as you see them come up into the hip. So like my top part of my quad looks better than like my what's that, vastus.
yeah,
Yeah. So I want to see what they look like in trunks, lean, and we're better posing as well. I've gotten better at
definitely.
bodybuilding posing. I think my bodybuilding posing is officially better than
Oh
my
yeah, 100%.
physique posing, which is kind of wild to say. I honestly just think I'm just a lot more comfortable in bodybuilding poses. I always felt a bit awkward in physique posing.
Mm.
Like, I don't know whether it's my mobility or like, I don't know, like my build or how much I enjoy it. But yeah, I've never been, I really struggled with posing last time round. And I struggled to stay on my abs
Yeah,
like all the time. That was a big issue last prep. And in bodybuilding, you don't need to do that as much. So,
yeah, it's exciting, yeah, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. 100%.
So yeah, I reckon
100%.
we leave it there.
I think so, yeah. Big old catch up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the next episode we'll put out some questions and we'll answer those at the end of the episode, and we'll go back to the usual structure of going through our weeks and then going through the questions. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.